When you're looking to hire a salesperson, you no doubt are like many of your peers. You have a system to advertise an open position. You get people to respond. You have the typical interview questions to ask, and you have a solid onboarding program. Well, today we're going to dig into an important trait we need salespeople to have. And you might say it's not one that can be simply taught and embraced by those who just want to have this trait we're going to get into. And to do this, I welcome Dave Kahle, the owner of Kahle Way Sales Systems. Dave, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Well, it's always a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Today's topic is about one powerful word. I don't think I've said it yet, character.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I know in one of your recent newsletters you discussed character and how important it is for a salesperson to have that. But how would you define character in the context of sales? And what does it mean for a salesperson's success and the company's success as well?
There's a couple different definitions. One is those characteristics, those things about a person that make him or her who they are, that are distinctive to them. So that's one way of looking at it. Another way is those attitudes and habits that have been created over time that you can be counted on. So you create a habit over time, and it's how you are, it's how you act. People can count on you acting this way. That's part of your character. So your character is the sum total of all of that.
And obviously, you can have a good character, a bad character.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody has character. I mean, it's just part of human nature. But over the years that people have been on this planet, we've determined that some characters are better than others. Some combination of traits are more desirable, more effective than others. You can have for want of a better word, you can have a low character, or you can have a higher character. And we're talking about higher character. We're talking about character traits that are universally admired and thought to bring success.
Okay, so let's talk about when we are looking for a salesperson. We're going to hire someone new.
Yeah,
During that process of, you advertise a position, you have the interview. Are there
yeah,
any red flags that tell you, and maybe some
yeah,
that aren't that easy to see? Because
yeah. Well, typically they're not easy to see, and so one of the rules that I have for interviewing people is pay attention to what's missing. Pay attention to the silences, pay attention to the gaps, pay attention to anything that's missing, because if it should be there and it's not, assume it's negative. So you have to dig into the silences and the gaps. But character, I believe that when you're hiring a salesperson, this is one of the biggest mistakes people make. They look for experience. Who cares? Honestly, in today's world, experience equals knowledge. Knowledge can be gained. You can pick up knowledge if you want to. So experience to me is not a reason to hire anybody. Character is, because character is, you can count on them acting this way because it's their character. It's who they are. So, I tell when we're doing programs on hiring salespeople, look, hire for character. Hire for character. So what exactly? What traits would be part of a person's character? Well, and one, here's one that for me is just a no-brainer, and that is integrity. You want somebody with integrity. So how can you tell that? Well, that's one of those traits that you can't ever be sure someone has it, but you can be sure if they don't. So you can decipher the lack of it more so than the presence of it. So here's an example, and I've got hundreds of examples, but here's one. Remember second interviewing a potential salesperson for one of my clients, and it's just something there, just something that bothered me. I'm not sure what. So I said, "Is there anything else that I should know?" And he danced around a little bit, and I said, "Okay, got it. But is there anything else I should know?" And he, fumbled around a little bit, gave me a salesperson's talk, warm, soft, fuzzy stuff with no meaning to it. And so I said one more time, I said, "Okay, is there anything else I should know about your background or anything that I don't know?" And he said, "Well, I've had two jobs at the same time. I was working for this one and I started another one and I worked 2 months under both jobs." I said, "Okay, I'm glad to know that." And bam, lack of integrity. See, I could tell the lack of it. So he's not going to get my recommendation.
And you kept digging to get that answer.
I did, yeah. So again, it's not easy. It's not easy. And I think first you have to determine that that is going to be one of your hiring criteria, if not the biggest hiring criteria. Is this a person of high character? Is this a person that I'm happy to have carry my company's business card around with them out in the world? Is this a person that's going to reflect positively on me and my business? That's really high on the list. People forget this. Martin Luther King said this. Dr. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Here was his dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. See, this thing about character is, I mean, it goes way back. Thousands of years, people have recognized the importance of character. And I think, honestly, in today's world, we've gotten away from that. You know, we look for other things, not character. That's too bad. I mean, it's a shame.
I agree. Yeah, character has been around forever, and how we use it and how we value it. It's not something that popped up like AI in the past couple of years, where
Yeah,
suddenly it's important.
yeah, yeah.
And I like, when you had that interview with that person and you kept asking, is there something else I should know?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if eventually he's like, hey, this guy might know something about me, and I need to get in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what flipped the switch on that one, but the switch did flip, and
And
so I
this is
got
an
the
interview you
information.
did, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So did he pick up on your reaction to, did you keep a straight face? Was it
Well, I tried to. I think I did, but
okay?
who knows?
Yeah. I mean, he might have thought, that's it for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I think the answer to this is no. We've alluded to it. I'm going to ask it anyway, Dave. Can a salesperson be trained to develop or improve character over time
yeah,
with companies? That's something
yeah,
that can be done.
yeah. I think it's very difficult. Now,
Mhm.
I think your character, forms in your formative years. That's one of the reasons they call it, formative years. And so by the time you're an adult, typically your character is pretty well set. Now you can change it. You can change it. But I don't know that someone from the outside can say, I'm going to change your character. I think you have to be a willing participant in that. And it takes work, as an adult, develop discipline, develop self-discipline, develop integrity, develop a work ethic. If you don't have it, those are difficult to do. And it takes intentionality and willfulness. It takes discipline. And, so so can you change somebody? I don't think so, but can someone be a partner in their own change? Yes, I think so.
I agree. And if they're that way, then you can help them,
Yes,
uh,
you certainly can
obviously.
help them.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, but it's got to come from them, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm just thinking here about how strong character, that good character that we're looking for in a
Mm,
salesperson. And you
hmm
talked about you can teach them the technical information or the product information.
hmm
But does that strong character compensate for that lack of other skills they might have, product knowledge, maybe presentation skills, things like that?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking here, like, can strong character in a salesperson help them sell ice to Eskimos in a way?
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you have strong character, I think one of the character traits of a higher character is the commitment to excellence. So I think that's part of it. And so commitment to excellence means that people are going to continually invest in themselves and improve themselves because they want to be excellent. And excellence is a continuously moving target. So your development is continuously moving. So to get back to your question, Jeff, yes, I think a high character goes a long ways. Now, with time and good resources, that's what I do. I'm a trainer. I train people in this kind of stuff. I believe that sales behaviors, sales skills can be taught, and therefore they can be learned by people who want to learn them. So will it go a long way? Yeah, it goes a long, long way. It really, truly does goes a long, long way.
Let's say you've got a fairly new salesperson with good, strong character that we've talked about.
Hmm.
And I'm not a salesperson myself, but I
Hmm.
hear um, aggressive goals are sometimes put on
Hmm.
salespeople. They
Hmm.
have to perform, they have to get it
Hmm.
done.
Hmm.
How do you balance that with someone with good character? Does that sometimes get in the way of how aggressive they need to be in sales?
Well, the purpose of a goal is to keep somebody focused, is to focus energy and attention on the specific end result. So the goal itself, I think is a worthwhile thing because it keeps people focused. The issue is how do you attain those goals? And typically goals are attained by quantity and quality of key activities. Now I'm getting real into the details here, but basically you have to do enough of the right things, and you have to do them well enough. And so if you have a sales goal, well, you have to present, X number in order to get some percentage of that. So you have to do enough, and you have to do well enough. And those issues speak to character. A person's character will drive him to do enough and to do them well enough, or to do them continuously better. So the goal isn't necessarily in opposition. The goal, I'd like to say, goal is something that helps focus and channel your behavior. So you're not doing all this other stuff. You're doing the important stuff. And character is a way to certainly fits into that equation.
Okay, I like it. Well, any parting words of advice or something you'd like to share with the cleaning industry and what they can do with this information?
Apply it. Honestly, again, I've worked with over 500 different sales organizations, and I will tell you this is a major and very common error people make when they're hiring salespeople or anybody else, and that is they look for experience instead of character. And I have seen that come back to bite people over and over and over again. So experience is just knowledge. You can gain knowledge. Now, in today's world, you have to be able to gain knowledge quickly, rapidly, and continuously. So it's just knowledge. People can gain knowledge, but your character, you're probably not going to change their character. Hire for character. Don't worry about experience or knowledge. They can gain that.